So I want to speak about a very important topic that explains what goes on in the world. If you want to understand how the world works, more important than understanding the matrix, understanding agendas like Agenda 2130, understanding pharmaceutical companies, understanding controlled opposition, and all of that subject matter that often gets spoken about in the world of conspiracies and truth. This is known as the color law. The color law is a very racist concept. It speaks about how we live in a white supremacist society and the black man has been kept down by the white man for too long, my friends. My brothers and sisters, we got to rise up. We got to take over the white supremacist society. No. The color of law has nothing to do with race. What really goes on in the upper echelons of control has nothing to do with whether you were black, whether you were white, or whether you were blue. It's about green. It's about money. It's about the power. It's about control. And the best way to control the masses is through the law or through force, through the threat of force, which is what we have with police officers essentially trying to follow the orders of their politicians. I think at the heart, and I know a lot of my right-winger friends will go blue in the face trying to deny this, but the problem, at least a big part of the problem in the world, has to do with police officers obeying unlawful laws and trying to implement something that they shouldn't be implementing. And this is the color of law. The color of law is where government entities like the police or officials act in a way to make people believe as if something is the law when it is not actually the law. A police officer telling you that you don't have the right to walk down the street, that you have to stay in your home, that you don't have the right to breathe oxygen. You got to put on a mask because we've made up some imaginary law that says you have to do this. And these laws don't even go through any of the legal processes. If you're speaking about Australia, we often, a few years ago, would see police officers say how you had to stay in your homes. And it's because of this Biosecurity Act that was implemented in 2015, I believe. And this Biosecurity Act was unlawful. It went through Parliament. It didn't go through Parliament. It didn't go through a referendum. It was just put down because a bunch of people decided to put it there, right? So basically broke all of the actual conventional processes that are allowed to make any constitutional change and just implemented this shit. And the vast majority of laws, whether it is Australia, whether it is the United States, are just a bunch of people that are deciding that, hey, look, we're going to implement something because we want to. Now, often these laws are implemented by police officers because they've been told by their higher ups that are controlled by whether it is big elite people or pharmaceutical companies, call it what you will. And as a result, these people just implement these laws even though they are not actual laws. It could be something as innocuous as you can't leave your home or you need to give up all your monies, otherwise I will shoot you. And this is what goes on all the time in pretty much every major country around the world. And what happens is people just go along with this kind of stuff because people don't know any better sometimes. And then sometimes people don't want to have to suffer the repercussions. When the reality is, if enough people said, hey, look, I'm not going to do this. This is ridiculous. It would never be allowed. Unless, of course, you push back. Unless, of course, you challenge any of these unlawful mandates, any of these laws, you will just see these unlawful mandates continue to be implemented. And this is how it has always been throughout history. Until enough people decide to plant themselves like a tree beside the river of truth and dig deep into that Aquarian energy, that energy that allows you to do what is right, regardless of whether everyone else is doing that thing. Because this is the problem. Most people acquiesce to the color of law because they see it being presented in a way that is so convincing because everyone else is doing it. Unless, of course, you take a step back and do what you know is the right thing to do based off of your own individual latent ability to discern right from wrong without any of this societal implication. You will always fall victim to doing things that go in the interests of what you know to be the right thing to do.